You're living your normal life, praying, working, scrolling, telling yourself you're doing okay more or less. And suddenly, without warning, their name slices through your mind like a random WhatsApp notification. You didn't even ask for it. It doesn't make sense. You weren't thinking about them. You weren't searching for signs. But here they are again, like a pop-up ad you can't close. And somewhere deep inside you start wondering, is this from Allah? Is this a message? Or am I just catching feelings at the worst possible time? Here's something most people miss. Not every person who enters your thoughts is a blessing. Sometimes it's a warning. Sometimes it's a hidden test meant to expose the cracks in your heart. And if you misread it, you could end up chasing something that was never yours to begin with. In this video, we'll uncover the 5 powerful reasons why someone might be stuck in your mind like a playlist you didn't even like. And reason number 4, let's just say it's the one thing almost nobody notices until it's way too late. So let's begin before your heart writes a story you were never meant to live. Reason 1. It might just be your own heart, not a divine sign. Let's be honest with ourselves. Sometimes when you can't stop thinking about someone, it's not a sign from Allah. It's your own heart refusing to let go. You check their profile. You replay old conversations in your mind. You scroll through memories pretending it's harmless. And then you sit there wondering why Allah keeps sending them into your thoughts. But the truth is, sometimes it's not a test from the outside. It's a test from inside you. Allah warned us clearly in the Quran, Surah Sad 26, "And do not follow your desires, for they will mislead you from the path of Allah." The deeper pain is this. Sometimes you're not missing the person. You're missing the closure you never got, the unanswered questions, the broken dreams, the conversations you're still having in your mind long after Allah closed the door. And in many cases, especially today, those thoughts are tied to relationships that were never halal to begin with. A connection without a nikah, a bond built outside the limits Allah set to protect your heart. And even though you tell yourself it was different, the scars it left behind are still pulling at your soul. Remember this, my dear brother, my dear sister. When Allah removes someone from your life, especially when it was built on haram foundations, it's not cruelty, it's mercy. You're not being punished by their absence, you're being purified by their distance. But if you keep opening the door in your mind, if you keep replaying what Allah helped you escape from, you're not just hurting yourself, you're inviting pain back into a heart Allah was trying to heal. Sometimes, the only closure you'll get is realizing that the door was closed by Allah Himself out of pure love for you. Reason 2. Maybe you're not meant to go back, you're meant to wake up. Let me ask you something. What if you're not constantly thinking about them because you're meant to be with them? What if Allah is letting their memories stay in your head because you haven't fully learned what you were supposed to? You're not stuck in love, you're stuck in the lesson. You're still carrying guilt, regret, confusion, and instead of reflecting, you keep romanticizing what was never pure to begin with. Because let's face it, some of those deep connections weren't halal. They were built on late-night texts, secret calls, emotional attachments that crossed boundaries. And now that it's over, you're left with an ache that isn't just about missing someone. It's about missing your own self-respect, your closeness to Allah, your inner peace. That constant thought, it's not always a sign to reconnect. Sometimes it's a call from Allah to say, "Come back to me, not to them." Clean what you broke. Don't repeat it. Because if you still haven't made sincere tawbah, if you still haven't faced what really happened, Allah might let the memory linger, not to hurt you, but to wake you up. Allah doesn't want to punish you. Allah wants to purify you. But that only starts when you stop chasing the person and start facing the truth. Reason 3. Maybe Allah removed them because you couldn't. Let's be real for a second. Sometimes the person you keep thinking about was never good for your heart, not your faith, not your future, not your mental peace. But you were too emotionally tied to see it. You convinced yourself it was love, that it had to mean something because of how strong it felt. But here's the thing. Just because something feels strong doesn't mean it's right. And Allah, in His mercy, not His anger, might have taken them away, not to hurt you, but because you weren't strong enough to walk away yourself. You kept holding on, making excuses, looking past red flags, telling yourself, maybe one day. But Allah saw what you didn't. Allah saw what would happen after the emotional high faded. Allah saw how they were pulling you away from your values, how they were filling your heart in a way that belonged only to Allah. So Allah removed them, and now all you're left with is the pain, the flashbacks, the what-ifs, the questions. But one day, maybe months from now, maybe years, you'll look back and whisper, Ya Allah, thank you for not letting me end up with the person I thought I couldn't live without. Because the truth is, you weren't being punished, you were being protected. And sometimes, the only reason they're still on your mind is because you haven't fully realized that letting go was Allah's greatest favor. Reason 4. Maybe you can't stop thinking about them because they haven't let you go. You've been trying to move on. You've made dua. You've blocked them. You've buried the feelings. But somehow, they still show up out of nowhere at random hours, while praying, while doing the most mundane things. They're just there. And here's what no one tells you. Sometimes the thoughts in your heart aren't from you. They're from someone else's dua. That person might be sitting somewhere right now, making sincere dua to Allah, begging, Ya Allah, bring them back into my life. And you're suddenly overwhelmed by their memory, not because Allah is guiding you back, but because you're spiritually feeling the weight of someone else's request. Because dua is not just words. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, dua is worship. And Allah said in the Quran, Surah Ghafir 40:60, call upon me, and I will respond to you. You think you're remembering them randomly, but what if right in that moment they were asking Allah to make you think of them? This is the part most people miss. If that person is still emotionally attached, still pleading with Allah, and you're not firm in your own heart, you might confuse their dua with your destiny. You'll think it's a sign from above. You'll think it's meant to be, but in reality, you're just being pulled into someone else's wish. And if you're not careful, you'll answer a dua that Allah never told you to respond to, and you'll go back to a chapter that Allah already closed for your protection. That's why it feels so real, so intense, so sudden. Because it is real, but not every real feeling is meant to be followed. Some are just spiritual echoes from hearts that haven't let go. And if you don't realize that soon, you could mistake emotional energy for divine instruction. Reason 5. If the thoughts won't stop, then turn them into dua, not drama. Let's be honest, you've tried distracting yourself. You've tried blocking, deleting, avoiding, but they still come to your mind randomly, painfully, constantly. And it's exhausting because it's not just a thought anymore. It's a loop that's slowly becoming your reality. But here's something most people never think to do. Instead of asking, why am I still thinking about them? Start saying, Ya Allah, if this is good for me in your eyes, bring it to me in the most halal and beautiful way. And if not, then remove it from my heart without leaving a scar. Because this way, even the most painful thought becomes a dua. Even the most random memory becomes an act of worship. And don't forget, what Allah writes for you will never need this much confusion. It won't keep dragging your heart into circles. It won't make your mind heavy and your soul empty. It won't pull you away from your salah, your peace, your clarity, because when it's written by Allah, it comes with blessings, with protection, with no late-night whispers, no guilt, no games. So if this constant thought is doing nothing but draining you, maybe it's not from Allah. Maybe it's just a heart that needs to redirect, to stop spiraling and start surrendering. Turn the storm inside your head into a silent, powerful moment of dua and let Allah take it from there. So my dear brothers and sisters, thinking about someone constantly isn't always about love. Sometimes it's Allah reminding you where your heart truly belongs. Because in Islam, we don't chase feelings. We seek clarity, blessing, and peace that comes through obedience to Allah. Allah tells us in the Quran, "And do not follow your desires, for they will mislead you from the path of Allah." Many people today mistake emotional attachment for a sign from Allah, but the truth is, not every strong feeling is divine. Sometimes it's a test, sometimes it's a trap, and sometimes it's someone else's dua echoing into your heart long after Allah closed that door. You see, when Allah removes someone, delays something, or makes you wait, it's not rejection, it's protection. And the most dangerous mistake is chasing someone in your mind that Allah already removed from your path in real life. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "There is a piece of flesh in the body, and if it is sound, the whole body is sound. And if it is corrupted, the whole body is corrupted. That piece is the heart." So take care of your heart. Return it to the one who created it. And every time that person enters your thoughts, don't spiral, don't chase. Turn it into dua, because dua changes what you feel, and Allah responds to every sincere whisper. So today, make this powerful dua from your heart. Ya Allah, if it's not written for me, remove it from my heart without pain and return my heart fully back to you. And if this reminder touched your heart, comment below, Ya Allah, return my heart fully back to you. Your words might be the reminder someone else needed today. And don't forget, liking and subscribing cost nothing, but it helps these reminders reach more people and maybe save more hearts from breaking for the wrong reasons. May Allah fill your heart with peace, clarity and love that brings you closer to Him. Ameen.